3 years ago, I did a 3-part series on how you can use CPF to help you lead a fulfilling retirement life. 3 years later, let's revisit some of these topics with my own real-life strategy and examples and how you can maximize it. And in part 1, I've already covered the CPF OA updated. So in part 2 today, I'll talk about the Medisave account. So if after this video, you still have any further questions, you are welcome to join us at over 17,000 members in our Honey Money SG Telegram group, so you can ask your questions there. Firstly, let's talk about how much of your salary is going to your Medisave account because it is compulsory. And if you look at CPF table, you realize that there's so many decimal points and numbers that you don't even know where to look. So I've already simplified all these numbers into a single Instagram post, which you can refer to it right here. And you realize that if you're 35 and below, there is an 8% allocation of your monthly salary to CPF MA, which means at $3,000 gross salary, 8% of it, which is $240, will go into the Medisave account every month. Then for the Medisave, you will earn at least 4% per annum, sometimes a little bit higher. And in fact, for those of you who are below 55 years old, you earn 1% additional interest on your combined CPF balances of $60,000, capped at $20,000 in your CPF OA, and subsequently, when you reach 55 and above, you'll earn 2% per annum on your first $30,000 with 1% additional interest on your next $30,000. Now, the main topic for Medisave is a little bit different because in OA, we talk more about how you can use your OA, right? Like for investment, for housing, and then for other things. But for Medisave, it's more like you don't even know what it can be used for until you watch this video. And in fact, when I was doing my research, there's so much more you can do with your Medisave, but there's a lot of terms and conditions involved, whether they are eligible or not eligible. So for the purpose of this video, I'll only go through the main topics of what it can cover. Then for the specific details relating to your own personal medical conditions or situations, you have to research it yourself under the specific subtopics, or you can just call up CPF or write them a message. They will be able to explain it further to you. Firstly, let's talk about the most essential one, which is outpatient treatment. Because for many of us, even if we visit hospital, not likely we'll need an inpatient hospital bed. And you can use your Medisave to pay for you or your family members, and that comes with terms and conditions for outpatient treatments, which includes chronic disease treatments and preventative cares at GPs, polyclinics, and specialist outpatient clinics. There is also a limit of how much you can use because it is up to $500 for non-complex situations and $700 for complex chronic conditions per annum per patient. There is also a Flexi Medisave for $300 per annum per patient at polyclinic for age 60 and older. So despite how much Medisave you have, even if you reach the BHS of over 70,000 members, there's only a few $100s you can use per year, but at least still can use for polyclinic lah if you're 60 years old and older. Okay, for more conditions on what is considered chronic, non-chronic, all these things, either you go and read up yourself in the CPF website or you just call up the CPF and ask. I think they will give a better answer compared to me. Next up is hospitalization. You can use your Medisave to pay for inpatient hospital bills, and this time if you are bedded, warded, there is also a limit as well, you know. For hospitalization, up to $550 per day for the first 2 days and $400 per day thereafter. So you see, you cannot go for all the very expensive wards lah. There's also $300 per day for hospital charges for day surgery. You can also use your Medisave for the Medisave Maternity Package or MMP, and can be used for pre-delivery and delivery expenses, so can offset a bit. There's also a Medisave grant for newborns because for Singaporean newborns, $4,000 will be credited to the newborn's MA automatically. So it's like free money lah. Government will give you money for bringing them a kid as a Singaporean. Then you can also use your Medisave for long-term care like rehabilitation, palliative care, and disability care. Not that I know what all this means, but if you know what are all these terms based on your own personal conditions and situations, then please explain in the comment section below. Moving on, the other main use of Medisave will be used to pay your insurance premiums. And specifically, we are looking at health, medical insurances, or long-term care insurance supplements, starting with the basic and essential and mandatory insurance known as Medishield Life. You can use Medisave to pay for Medishield Life insurance premiums, which will help to cover large hospital bills and selected costly outpatient treatments. And for Medishield Life, it's really covered for life regardless of your age or any existing conditions. It will also help you pay for large medical bills, which means you use less Medisave or cash if you are warded in B2 or C wards. So every year, there will be an insurance premium deducted from your Medisave account to pay for Medishield Life, and this is mandatory. But there's also a claim limit that apply lah. So if all these claim limits not enough, what can you do? Of course, it's to upgrade, right? But upgrade means have to pay more money lah. This video has no sponsor, but you can support me by clicking on this interactive Interactive Brokers link, especially when they are one of the most competitive brokerages to offer Ireland domicile ETFs on London Stock Exchange. And also, Interactive Brokers offer the best exchange rates for foreign currency. So get your IBKR account by clicking on this link right here. So Medishield Life is compulsory, mandatory, essential, everyone must pay for it. But the supplement is optional, which is known as the Integrated Shield Plan. So it will form on top of your basic Medishield Life premium. So what is Integrated Shield Plan? It is basically like a supplement that combines the Medishield Life with an additional private insurance coverage, and this component is provided by a private insurer. So you can look at all these private insurers like Prudential, Great Eastern, Singlife, NTUC, and usually their plans are more for B1 wards and above, which offers more privacy compared to the B2 or C wards, which also means it is more expensive lah. So it's really optional for those of you who can afford it and prefer to stay in higher class wards for more privacy and more attentive care. Then if you are old enough and watching this channel, you will have this ElderShield, which is optional. It is a long-term care insurance targeted at severe disability, providing cash pay of $300 or $400 per month for 5 or 6 years depending on the plan type. And until 2019, all Singaporean citizens and PRs with Medisave account were enrolled in ElderShield at the age of 40 unless they opted out. But from 2020 onwards, auto enrollments to ElderShield have discontinued because Singaporean citizens and PRs who turn 40 in 2020 will be enrolled in the new CareShield Life. So I think I will cover more about CareShield Life because this is essential and mandatory, and have replaced the ElderShield component going forward from 2020. So for those of you who are born in 1980 onwards, you are automatically enrolled when you turn 30 years old. For those of you born 1979 and before, it's optional for you to opt into CareShield Life. So what is CareShield Life? It is a long-term care insurance to provide cash payouts if you cannot do 3 activities of daily living, also known as ADL. And the 6 ADL includes washing, dressing, feeding, toileting, mobility, and transferring. And it's a lifetime coverage where you can get a payout of $649 per month in 2024, which increases over time. And yes, some of you will say that $649 per month when I have 3 ADLs already, where I got enough? Because it is most likely that if you have the disability, it's very difficult for you to find employment, and even if you could, it will be very limited in the job scope that can earn you sufficient income. So then there are also CareShield Life supplements which can complement your basic CareShield Life or ElderShield plan by offering additional benefits such as higher monthly payouts which enhance your coverage. The good thing about CareShield Life supplement that it can also be paid by your Medisave. So unless it has gone beyond the Medisave claim limit per year, then you have to top up cash. Otherwise, if you keep within the $600 per year, you don't need to fork out extra cash for the CareShield Life supplement. But of course, common sense, with higher premiums means higher payout. Lower premium means lower payout. Okay, so all that is mainly on the health component. How about the contribution and tax component? I think this is very highly relevant to those of you who are self-employed. For employee, no choice. Okay, your employer and yourself will have to contribute according to the age bracket. But for self-employed, do you know that your contribution to Medisave is also mandatory every year after you have reported your net trade income to IRAS? So based on IRAS rules, as a self-employed person, you are required to make mandatory contributions to your Medisave account after you receive a notice of computation of CPF. If you are a self-employed person and you are a Singaporean citizen or PR and your net trade income is more than $6,000 per year. But something different from full-time employees, you are not required to top up your OA or your special account because all these are not mandatory unless you want to voluntarily top up. Then only the Medisave or MA is mandatory contribution. And since you are talking about Medisave account, we need to know this very important term known as the Basic Healthcare Sum or BHS, which is the maximum amount that you can hold in your Medisave account, and it changes from year to year. For the reference of year 2024, the current BHS is $71,500, which means that once your MA has reached this 71.5k, any additional contributions, whether mandatory or voluntarily, will not go into the MA anymore. So where do they go then? Firstly, they will go to your special account first, right? But what if some of you are like me? Your special account has also reached the full retirement sum. Then your Medisave account funds will flow to the ordinary account or OA instead of the SA. This is assuming your SA is already maxed out at full retirement sum. Then for those of you who are 55 years old and above, no more special account, right? Then you will flow to your retirement account first, and if your retirement account is maxed out as well, it will flow to the OA. Also note that the BHS basic healthcare sum will increase every year. This year 71.5k. Next year it will definitely increase to around 4+% per year. This is to keep pace with the growth of the Medisave usage by the elderly. So every year increase the basic healthcare sum. How like that? If you you're not working already, still have to contribute, then don't worry because your basic healthcare sum will be fixed by the time you reach 65, which means it will not increase anymore. Your entire cohort with the same age as you will have the same basic healthcare sum. So coming back to myself, what is my Medisave account strategy? In my earlier part of my employment years, I've always wanted to voluntarily contribute to the Medisave, make it reach the max PHS as fast as possible so that the overflow can flow to the special account to reach FRS faster. And primarily, don't forget that once you do voluntary contribution to Medisave account as an employee or self-employed, you get tax reliefs as well, up to $8,000 of combined tax relief. So this is shared between the special account and the Medisave account, depending on what you top up, but combined limit $8,000. So once your Medisave account is maxed, your Medisave contributions, be it voluntary or compulsory, will flow to the special account first, so it will fill up the SA even faster, which is also known as the supercharging effect. Because remember that once you reach your full retirement sum, the sums above the full retirement sum can be withdrawn once you have reached 55. Then for some of you who may want to pay for the supplements like CareShield supplement or integrated shield plan that can be paid by Medisave, if your Medisave account can generate you 4% interest per year, you can actually use this interest to pay for these premiums and it will not reduce the capital that you have in the Medisave account. So it's like free insurance lah. Government give you the 4% interest on your Medisave account. You use the interest to go and pay for the insurance supplements. It's to provide you the insurance for yourself also for your own good, right? So I hope that this is a good summary of how you can use the Medisave account, be it from a tax perspective or how you can use it medically to increase your insurance supplements and even subsidizing you or your family members' medical expenses. And of course, for further details on what can be used or what cannot be used, please check the CPF board or do your own research because everyone's conditions is different. If you want to see a similar walkthrough of what you can do with your CPF OA account, then I can refer you to my part 1 series of the CPF strategy right here.